Hi, I'm Kelley Knitz, broker with Remax Preferred and your local Ohio real estate expert.
And I'm Kelley Heidbreder. I am a real estate agent for Howard Hanna in the state of Michigan, and I'm also a meteorologist for Channel 11, WTOL 11, and been on TV for a long time, and also was a home and garden writer for the Toledo Blade for almost 18 years. So it's kind of nice to put all of these things together, all in the same basket, and to answer some of your questions here with my good friend Kelley.
Right, and today we're going to talk about how to prepare a buyer for this crazy real estate market and a bidding war.
We're down 40% in our home volume right now for inventory. So that creates a lot of lookers on your house because, again, we don't have many out there. And it also creates a bidding war. So we're going to prepare you as the buyer, some things for you to think about. And when you're working with us as agents, how we will, we just want to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking to you about.
Well, I mean, in the past, since I've been doing this for so long, I mean, if I were to tell 10 years ago, if I were to tell a buyer to write asking price or above asking price, they'd think I was a crooked agent trying to make more money, that kind of thing. But honestly, that's what we have to do in today's market.
Right.
Typically, we have to write at least $10,000 over asking price. In many instances, sometimes more.
Right. I've had that happen many times. And again, it's just crazy of a market to be in. I'm so thankful. But really getting your buyer prepared is important. So you were saying mentally prepare that customer. How do we do that?
Just mentally prepare them that, the market is hot right now. There's going to be several offers on this property. If you stand a chance in wanting to get this home as your home, then here's some things that you must do. And don't get mad at me if you decide not to do them and don't get the house.
Kel, I think it's also important for us as agents, for the buyer, to reach out to that list agent real quick.
Right. And definitely talk to the listing agent. Let them know a little bit about your buyers, that they're good, solid gold buyers, a nice couple. And sometimes, in fact, I'll have my buyer write a letter explaining what they love about the house and a little bit about their family and just sweeten the pie a little bit.
Sweeten the pot a little bit. So some of the things we're going to ask you as well that we might put in the deal are really important things to help us negotiate when we're in a bidding war. So things that the seller might look for is when we want to close. They want to close quick as possible, right? So we can make that closing date usually at 30 days. That's about where banks are. Is it about 30 days, right?
Yeah, about 30 days. So
at about 30 days. It depends on your loan. So if you're conventional, it's about 30 days. If you have a rural development loan, it's quite a bit longer than that. If you're in a FHA loan or VA loan, it might take more than 30 days. But the point is let's get you to a closing date as early as we can get it. And is there any negotiation for repairs? So that's another thing we might put on there to sweeten our deal. So let's say we know that the water heater needs to be fixed, so we will write in there that we will pay for that repair, right? So that's what we're talking about. And maybe how long has the seller lived in the house? Maybe those are questions we're going to ask them ahead of time to know. Is it your family homestead? Is that where you're going with that one?
Well, basically, like what this is all trying to get at is the buyer's agent ourselves asking the seller's agent so that we can listen to the wants and needs of their seller, so that might give us a clue as to how to write our offer. Like, let's say they don't have anywhere to go. So we might let that listing agent know that our buyer is willing to let them stay in that house for a certain amount of time until they find a place, just to let it sweeten the pie and make them look at their offer over other offers that, need to get in closed on a certain date.
For example, I just sold a house in Jackson. Beautiful brownstone, gorgeous house, all brick in a beautiful neighborhood. Tree-covered, tree-lined neighborhood. It looked like a professor at the college house. It was just that cool. But the elderly lady that lived there, her kids weren't living here anymore. They were from away, and she was living in the home by herself. And frankly, she just needed more time to pack. So we knew that. We'd talked to the list agent already, and so when we wrote the offer, we gave her 45 days after closing so that she could pack up and have her kids come and help her move.
So our job as buyer's agents is to listen to the selling agent and what's important to the seller so that we can write the offer appropriately. Now, if you just go write an offer as a buyer's agent and you don't find anything out about the seller situation, that could harm your position. Yeah,
and it's almost going in a little bit rude, if you ask me. I think that if we go in and really look at that other client or that list agent, we're working together as a team, right? We're on the same team trying to get that.
We're using our listening ears to work the best we can for our buyers.
Back to kindergarten kids. Now, tell people about contingencies, because I think that's a big one.
Well, I mean, as far as contingencies go, take as many of them out as you can.
What does that mean? Tell people what a contingency is.
Okay, so a contingency means the offer can close subject to this happening. Maybe it could be they have a house to sell or close. Maybe it could be they have to find a place to live, or they need a longer time. The buyer maybe needs a longer time to get their financing closed. Maybe they might need 8 weeks instead of 4 weeks, or just remove any contingencies, because that'll take away any what ifs. And it's more of a concrete offer.
The two biggest contingencies that I try to get rid of, one is, like you just said, I don't have a house to sell. So if a person can finance that second house before selling their other one, there are lenders that'll let you do that. If you have good credit and you have enough equity in your current house, you might be able to borrow against that to buy that new house even before you sell your house. So that's one way to get rid of that contingency. The other one is, and I just did this just last week, we dropped the inspection contingency. So one of the things that you do as a buyer is that you put the offer in, and you hire an inspector. Costs about $350 to $400 to have an inspector go through the house to make sure all of the roof is solid, all the mechanicals in the house are good. If you do the walkthrough with the buying agent, you might already see they're really tidy. You can see that they've fixed every little problem in the house ahead of time. You may waive that inspection. It's risky, but
when
you
could. Buy a house at an auction, you don't get the opportunity to have it inspected.
Right.
So it happens in that instance anyway. So
that's an as-is, but you would know that ahead of time, right? But if in this case we're trying to get rid of contingencies,
right? But I'm just trying to let them know not to be fearful of not having an inspection if they can see, or if they take somebody with them that can see that it's a good house and there's not anything really wrong with it. But another contingency that we could talk about also is just dropping the home warranty. Just not, because
that's a good one.
To the seller, so it'll save them maybe $500 or something. So leave that off.
So a home warranty is, for example, either the buyer or the seller pay for a small insurance policy on certain appliances or certain things and mechanical things in the house. And so if one of those goes down within that structured period of time, that home warranty kicks in, and so you get a new fridge or you get a new furnace.
Yes,
that's what that is. And so if the seller's supposed to pay for that, as a buyer, you don't ask for it. That'll help, right?
Right. It'll save the sellers. They'll make more money. Their net will be greater.
Or when we look at all those multiple listings or multiple offers in a bidding war, we're going to take the one that's the cleanest deal. So if you have a lot of little hang-ups on that offer and ask for a whole bunch of things, I'm not going to pick you. Sorry. I'm going to pick the cleanest, easiest one.
The best financing, the least amount of attachments.
And the most time. You're going to give me the most time to move out, right? Oh, yeah. And what about this deposit? I mean,
the earnest money deposit, it just shows your strength. If you raise your earnest money deposit, in Ohio we do it a little bit different than what you might in Michigan, because you're around lake properties, which is, like higher.
Woo. No. Well, an earnest money deposit is just what Kelley said. It's that money that says I have skin in the game. So I did write this offer with my buyer's agent, but I am serious and I'm going to move forward on this deal.
Now, back in the day, before this wonderful market, we would just put $500 there. That was like the average earnest money deposit that we would put down. Some people were even putting zero, because really you don't really have to have earnest money.
And an earnest money deposit, if you don't know that yet, is something that goes directly back to you at the closing. So it's really money that you might already have in your bank account, and you just give it to the. It'll go into an escrow account with the title company, most likely.
Title companies in Ohio.
And it stays in that title company's escrow until you close. And so it comes right back out to you. It doesn't hurt you. It's not an addition. And one thing that if the deal falls through, it goes back to you.
If the reason why it fell through is the right reason. Like if you wait all the way up until the day of closing, I don't like this house. I want to get this house. You can't.
That's lame. So they get to keep your
issues with it. So.
I have not run into that ever in my career. Have you run into that?
I ran into it twice, and my seller did have to sue somebody for specific performance.
So twice in 30 years, that's pretty rare. But it's one of those things.
Right. So the amount of deposit money is an important thing to look at if you're a buyer's agent trying to get your buyer the home of their dreams when you're competing against so many other offers.
So your point is that if you do put a bigger earnest money deposit down, you look better to that seller.
You look more stable.
Look like more stable. I just wrote an offer on a house last week, a $500,000 house, 10 acres, beautiful 3,000 square foot house. We put $10,000 down for an earnest money deposit.
I've seen it.
We got the deal. We, you know, we're moving forward on it, so we got it.
It just makes you look strong.
Yeah.
It's what your job is to do, is make yourself look the best you can in the seller's eyes.
What about escalation clauses? Do you believe in them?
Well, I mean, you know, the escalation clause themselves, I mean, it's a legal document. I mean, you know, and it's a little bit intimidating, and, you know, it has a cap on it. So my whole, you know, idea with escalation clauses is just go in there with your best offer. You know, don't confuse somebody. You know,
so tell them what an escalation clause is.
Okay, so that if you're competing against other offers, you have the opportunity to submit an escalation clause, which will say that you'll pay $100 over the highest offer, but there's a cap on it.
Up to another number.
Amount, right.
So let's say, for example, like again, you're anxious that you didn't get the highest offer, so you'll say, I'll go over $100 over the next verifiable offer. And then so essentially you put a cap on that number, and then it'll keep going up until you win. Theoretically.
Well, I mean, if you're comparing a bunch of offers as a selling agent, you're going to look and you're going to pull out the escalation clause and circle the cap.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're looking at.
Yeah. And here's the thing is that I lost a deal to that. About 6 months ago in the Grass Lake area, I put an escalation clause for almost $20,000 over the list price, feeling so confident we were going to get that offer. And I've told my client, we went $20,000 up on that cap. We're looking good. And we didn't get it. The man was devastated because someone went over us. You know, they too had an escalation clause, but their cap was
I would say
higher.
make it clear. Put your best offer in the offer to purchase. Make it clear. This is what it is. And,
and just don't worry about the escalation clause. If you were going to go up to that escalation clause cap, let's say for example at $350, but you really offered $320, just seeing if you could get $320, and you went, but I'll go as high as $350. Just go to $350.
Just put $350 down on your offer.
When you really look at the loan numbers and your monthly payment, it really won't be that much.
Right.
Right. So in the end, you're to get the house you want. Right. Good information, Cal.
I think so. Yeah. I think it is. So we want to thank you for watching, and if you need any more information or if you have questions about escalation clauses, you can either call or text me or Kelly. I'm at 419-779-6229.
And if you're in Michigan, it's 517-605-9647.
Thanks for watching.